Hello and welcome to our first video update on Typhoon Haishen, a Category 2 on the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale, at 31.3 degrees north, 129.2 degrees east as of 3 p.m. UTC this September the 6th. Alright, well, let's go on to the current stats of this storm. Winds 110 miles per hour and a pressure of 945 millibars, moving north-northwest at 22 miles per hour. It's also a stage 7 on the CDPS scale. More details here to follow. So, if you're in Goto, Japan, you're seeing a stage 7 from this with significant winds, nearly extreme storm size. This thing is going to be absolutely massive. Rainfall potential is significant to major, and the overall threat to land has been classified as major. Over 16 inches of rain possible in some spots. So, stage 7 means catastrophic damage is possible, as you can see here on the slide. And we'll see why that catastrophic damage is possible here in just a moment. But firstly, let's look at this wind field. The wind field is absolutely massive on this storm. Over 200 miles. Two of the quadrants there, as you can see. It's just massive. It's huge. So, 3 p.m. UTC, September the 6th. Again, the storm has winds of 110 miles per hour, pressure of 945 millibars. And the storm is already delivering tropical storm force winds to South Korea at this time. So, this is really a massive storm. And it's got quite an expansive wind field on it. So, what are the current watches and warnings looking like? Well, there is the equivalent of a tropical storm warning for Amami, Kyushu, Chikotoi, and Chikotu. Tropical storm watch for Miki and Tokai, and then we also have a equivalent of a storm surge watch or warning for Kyushu and Amami. So, this thing is 69 miles away from Goto, 76 miles away from Kagoshima, about 89 miles away from Saikai, about 194 miles away from Jeju, and about 235 miles away from Busan. So this storm is really starting to bear down. Everywhere within this area is already receiving tropical storm force winds. So maximum winds, again, we're going with 110 miles per hour, and you can see why here. The JTW, CJMA, and Force 13 all running with 110 miles per hour. RAM multi-platform analysis indicating 105 miles per hour. The ADT and AMSU staying at 115 as of a few hours ago. This is outdated, and the storm appearance has gotten worse. And SATCOM, which is even more outdated, still indicating a high-end Category 3 hurricane. So what's the JTWC thinking? Well, they're seeing this thing weakening pretty quick with a 60 knot intensity here by forecast point 3. So they are saying that a typhoon landfall could certainly occur now. Yesterday they had backed that all the way off to about a tropical storm landfall. Force 13 ran at 75 miles an hour yesterday. That very well looks like that could be what the storm makes landfall with. So here's the rainfall forecast. As you can see, numerous areas getting above 8 inches, especially in South Korea, but about 4 more inches to be dumped over those Japanese islands in the worst case scenarios. And some of these more mountainous regions, the very southern side of Japan, possibly getting more than that. You can see as we head into South Korea, though, that 8 to 16 contour popping up a few times, but mostly we're going to be looking at 2 to 4, maybe 4 to 8 inches in most areas in South Korea. So what are sea surface temperatures looking like? Well, they're looking pretty awful for the storm at this point. We're probably going to be seeing that really being the reason this drops off. Conditions are no longer favorable for the storm to strengthen. The shear is also through the roof. With that being said, here are the chances of tropical storm force winds. As you can see, near 100% for a lot of Japan and South Korea as the storm does move up. All areas of South Korea, well over 50%. When it comes to chances of tropical storm force winds through South Korea, I'd be gearing up for a tropical storm or even a typhoon. If you're in southern South Korea, you can see there those chances of typhoon force winds. And as we head near Busan, that looks to be ground zero for typhoon force winds in South Korea with a 20 to 30% chance, even 30 to 40% over in that particular area. Definitely something of concern, something that we will be watching. So what are the models thinking? Well, the models are thinking when it comes to intensity, just ignore the H word. Models are thinking that this storm's going to be dropping off pretty quick, with the drop-off that's currently occurring being well predicted by models beforehand. Models expecting this to be around that low within the next 3 days. Why is that? Well, let's start with shear. Shear is beginning to skyrocket and will continue to do so over the next few days. And as you can see, sea surface temperatures are about to go really down before we do see land interaction kill this off. So satellite imagery looking like? Well, satellite imagery is looking very good for the storm. As you can see, it's looking like a well-structured storm. It's not looking anywhere near as good as it used to, convection waning, but when it comes to the robust nature of the storm and how large it is, this is actually looking fairly good on satellite. So a robust storm that will be heading into South Korea, definitely something that needs to be taken into account. You can follow our outlets. First of all, the website, force13.com, with new articles coming out all the time for your reading pleasure about all things weather. YouTube.com/force13 with our tropical weather bulletins, animations, and tropical updates. You can also find us on Facebook with more information on those things. And then also on Twitter. We have the US branches and AU branches on there as well, but you can see the URL below. Teespring.com/store/force13. That's where you can find things like the Smug Mug to buy. And finally, the Patreon. Patreon.com/force13, where you can support the project and help it become even better.